Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishvavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Namaste to all. Welcome. Nirupamanitya niramshakepya khande Nirupamanitya niramshakepya khande Mayi chiti sarva vikalpanadishunye Mayi chiti sarva vikalpanadishunye Ghatayati jagadisha jiva bhedam Ghatayati jagadisha jiva bhedam Tvaghatita ghatana patiya simaya Tvaghatita ghatana patiya simaya. Yeah, that one will keep repeating. So, yeah, that bit. And unfortunately it appears to be the hardest. So, gunas, that is where we are. We have to still cover some ground. Don't worry, I will go through the text. But this is necessary to get into the text also, because once we have this background, the text will go on its own. It will have its own pace. So please don't worry about the text. Okay? That happens because we are used to a kind of a linear progression. You know, that is how we were educated. There is a syllabus, and this is the syllabus. And that syllabus, you know, it will have a certain time to complete the syllabus. And then after that, what happens? Then there is a test. Yeah. When will the quiz be? Vedanta quiz. So then there will be a test. Then there is a quiz. All these things. This is how we are used to kind of, you know, like learning, marking, and giving ourselves treats because we have finished like graduation. And now graduation even for, what is that, you know, pre-KG. Pre-KG means the child is yet to weigh 1 kg. And there is 1 kilogram. And there is a graduation ceremony for that. You know, so because we want all these milestones and accomplishments. And sometimes Vedanta can be frustrating because there is nothing to show for it. You know? You can't have a badge saying, I have self-knowledge. one hand, one arm. Another arm, I have conquered Maya. There is no such badge. And sadly, a jnani, the one who is a knowledgeable person, cannot be picked out from a crowd either. You know? Even if the jnani is saying, notice me, the jnani won't say that. But maybe there is a jnani wannabe. And the jnani wannabe says, me, I have been studying Vedanta for a long time. Look at me. Nobody sees. You know? And the jnani herself is advised in the Brahma Sutra to just mingle anonymously. So these are all the causes for mounting frustration in the study of Vedanta. Because you want to conquer Vedanta. You cannot, because it's you. You want to conquer Maya. That itself is wanting to conquer Maya is a Maya attack in progress. Yeah, that is what it is, you know. Because she is wily. We have seen that, you know. And so therefore, as much as possible, I want you to just relax and listen to whatever is coming, because this is all drawn from the text itself, and the text will be taught, don't worry. Every single word I will explain. So gunas, Traigunya Vishaya Vedaha, Arjuna is told in the Bhagavad Gita, 2nd chapter, 45th verse. Thanks to whoever found that out. I think Gordon and Harinder did that. So, Nistraigunyo Bhava Arjuna. So the Veda means the first portion of the Veda is all about action and result of action. Because it is teaching one to be dharmic. And so there is action. If you want money, do this. You want to invite Lakshmi into your house, write a petition to Lord Vishnu. How long is it? What does that petition look like? Vishnu Sahasranama. That is the petition. Please send Lakshmi over for a few hours at least. Invitation to Lakshmi for tea, or you invite her directly by chanting Shri Suktam, she'll come. This is how it is. So, this is the whole kind of this is all, part of the gunas. When you ask for something to happen, and when you want something in order to get something else, or you do something in order to enjoy something, karta bhokta, pramata, all these things, doer, seer, hearer, all these things are what, they keep one in samsara. Samsara here means the time-space matrix along with the being affected by the gunas constantly, Morning, sattvic, because you had a nice rest, You wake up feeling benevolent towards the whole universe. And some unwanted call comes, phone call, telemarketer or, an annoying friend, whoever it is. Then what happens? Suddenly Rajas comes. Oh, this is the time to call, it's not even 8 o'clock. And then Rajas gives way to tamas. Oh, I'll never get anything done. Why even try? The whole morning has gone. You see? And so this is how one comes under the spell of the gunas. And Arjuna is told that these gunas are there, because they are within what is called the first portion of this Veda, which keeps one in place, treading water, not going anywhere. It just, it's like putting a band-aid on the Grand Canyon. You try to keep it, you try to keep it from bleeding. You try to keep everything status quo. This is not Vedanta, this is Maya. And the gunas make the status quo palatable. Brown, red, green, yellow, pink, riot of colors, guna. Even colors are associated with certain gunas. And then, food, so many, sattvic food, tamasic food. What is tamasic food? That which smells, before it gets here. Like durian, there is one fruit. I haven't had the pleasure of encountering it, but I'm told that it's a very smelly fruit and a lot of people love the smell also. But it even tests the patience of saints. There is one Swami, a Vietnamese Swami, who, what is that, Buddhist, Zen Buddhist monk in a place called Plum Village in the south of France. He has an ashram there. And his name is Thich Nhat Hanh. And he was leading a meditation. Somebody walked in late with a big bowl of durian and kept it very reverentially at the feet of the Swami and sat down to meditate. And the Swami wrote in his book, he tried really hard to ignore. So, mind above matter, right? If I don't mind, it doesn't matter. But he could not tolerate the smell. And finally, he had to stop the meditation and have the durian aired out somewhere outside, outside the hall. Then it made sense to me. That's why the name of the fruit, it is durian. In Hindi, durian means far away, distance. So this is how the gunas are. But some people like this blessed durian. Some people love it. And so therefore, all these gunas have a way of just slowly and nicely hugging you. We have been talking a lot about the hug of Maya. And so all of them have a nice way of embracing you. And then, before you know it, you struggle and you're caught. It is smothering, not mothering, smothered by ajnanam and its after effects, which is Maya. This is what it is. So, therefore, Arjuna is told that, nistraigunnyo bhava. Quickly get out of the gunas. How to do that? I'm imprisoned. I'm in a straight jacket because I'm full of, I'm completely within the what is that? The jala. Jala means net. I'm within the net of the gunas. Help! How? I'm having a Maya attack, and Maya's helpers are these gunas. I told you, they are minions of Maya. So, that's why Maya Bhihi, remember the first sentence of the Upanishad that we are still unfolding? Indro Maya Bhihi, 3 Mayas, what are they? Sattva, Rajas, Tamas, this is what it is. So, all of them are ensnaring me. Oh Krishna, it's nice for you to say, get out of Maya quickly, nistraigunnyo bhava. Easier said than done. What do you mean, nistraigunnyo bhava? How? Well, he gives, thankfully, a formula. He doesn't just leave Arjuna hanging with an order, get out of the gunas. He actually tells step by step how to do that. Thank God. And we can be flies on the wall and listen to this conversation for free. Wonderful, So how to become nistraigunya, how to not let the gunas affect me. And we just follow Bhagavan's advice. Nirdvandvo bhava, nitya sattvastho bhava, niryogakshemo bhava, atmavan bhava. He gives a fourfold formula to get out of the gunas. Nirdvandvo, let us look at that later. So, nitya sattvastha. So, to get out of the gunas, you see the offending gunas are only sattva and rajas and tamas. Therefore, what do? You catch hold of sattva. You catch hold of godliness, compassion, accommodation, titiksha, forbearance, shama, dama, all these things come in. Shraddha, that is all sattvic qualities. So you catch hold of sattvic qualities for dear life. And then the other two are like, Rajas and Tamas are like snapping turtles, but you are slightly out of their reach. They can only jump so much, but you are a little higher. So they can just snap and get angry and they will recede. So you climb on to sattva and you catch hold of sattva for dear life. This is what is called, you behave opposite of how you want to behave. You want to, decapitate a few people, especially after quarantine, because you're so sick of everyone, Instead, what do? Buy them presents. Give them flowers. And you want to say something terrible, make it into a compliment. Are you crazy? It will give them encouragement. That is again a tamasic thought, a rajasic thought. Let it go. No, but it will make them more rajasic and tamasic. That's okay. You are sattvic. It will not affect you then. So therefore, this is the opposite. This is called oppositional behavior in connection to the feelings. The feelings are just feelings. That's all they are. They don't matter at all. So you feel like acting badly, act goodly. No, but I don't want to be a goody 2 shoes. It's not me. Okay, be a goody 1 shoe. Okay. How to become a goody 1 shoe? Whenever Rajas and Tamas come, say shoo, shoo. That's how. That's how. I know it's hard. It's not that's all, but it's a start. So when you catch hold of sattva, what happens is that you have a arsenal of protection. You are completely protected by the base level bestial gunas, the gunas that make one lose sight of the fact that one is a human being and behave like an animal. You are free of that, which is very, very wonderful. And so now what to do? So this is what is called nitya sattvasthaha. Nityam sattve tishtati, always stays in sattva no matter what. So even if you behave badly and you snatch something, and say, bye, you can't have it, after a while you say, oh, this was the teaching, what to do now? Okay, come here, take it back, it's yours, but you just snatched it from me, doesn't matter. Take it back. You cuffed somebody, then go put some ointment in. Love them up. So this is what the whole thing is. I had seen in this, when I was small, I still remember this cartoon, this cat. Its name, what was it?
Garfield.
Huh?
Garfield?
Not Garfield, it is a moving cartoon. Sylvester. And that lady had one bird, Tweety bird. And so the lady said to Sylvester, Christmas is coming. Santa Claus is watching you. And I'm going to the market. And don't do anything to Tweety. Okay? And Tweety was also, it would sit in its cage and taunt him. And so Sylvester, as soon as she left, he forgot he had to be good and Santa was watching. So he went inside the cage, opened the cage from outside, caught hold of this Tweety bird who screamed. Naturally. It screamed. And then, the lady was still in the parking lot. She was getting into the car. She knew this cat is up to no good. And she came back in the house. So he was caught yellow-handed because Tweety was a canary, yellow bird. And so then suddenly he remembered, oh, Santa is watching. So he kissed the Tweety bird on the head and put it in the cage nicely and sat down. So you see, like that. So one does something bad, wrong, whatever it is, and then one catches hold, it's not bad or wrong, it is swabhavika, rajas and tamas. And so because of that rajas and tamas, one brings oneself back to sattva repeatedly. Nitya sattvastho bhava, nirdvandvo bhava. Look at everything as an extension of you. And niryoga kshemo bhava. Stop, being the agent, because the agent and the victim, this is a pair. Agent, karta, victim, bhokta. Karta, bhokta. This is what causes misery. So you step out of that rubric of being either an agent or the victim, being either a doer or done in by yours or other people's doings. And so, how to do that? Niryoga kshemo bhava. Think about why is it that you act in order to get a result. Why do you want the result? Because otherwise I am insecure. Let go of that insecurity by shrouding that insecurity in bhakti and leaving it to Bhagavan to give you whatever you're supposed to have. And so you get out of that insecurity and you unplug your, what is that called? You unplug your ability to produce your happiness. What you think your happiness is. What you think your security is. Because most of the time that's all a spoof. And then people say, so that means I shouldn't also come to Vedanta class. If Bhagavan wants, let Bhagavan send. I have news for you, Bhagavan has already sent. You have to log in, that's what you have to do. So, niryoga kshemo bhava, atmavan bhava. Atmavan here means not the one who has atma. Atmavan means someone with self-confidence, develop that self-confidence to be, to have to that courage to let go of rajas and tamas. Well, this doesn't quite explain one more thing, you may say. Okay, I'm letting go of rajas and tamas. I'm catching hold of sattvic food, sattvic behavior, sattvic lifestyle. Boring, but okay. Then, but nistraigunya means I should get rid of sattva also. How to get rid of sattva? Fortunately, you don't have to worry about that. Sattva resolves in you because the qualities of sattva guna, the attributes of the guna called sattva, are extremely close, nay, they are identical with the truth of yourself. As all love, all compassion, non-reactive, accommodative, all that you already are, and that is what sattva is. So catching hold of sattva, you don't have to let go of sattva. Sattva resolves into the truth of you. Very beautiful. And this is something to remember, how to, overcome this Maya, because this is not something that the text addresses. But we have to address this, because otherwise your experience of studying about Maya will remain incomplete. So now the very important question. Are we any closer to defining Maya? What is Maya? So one definition we have covered, thank God. What is that definition? That it is, she is none other than Ishvara. Correct? Yeah. Yatra yatra Maya. Now we can take this definition of Ishvara, Ishvara Ananya Maya. And to put it more technically, Adhishthana Ananya Maya. Adhishthana means the truth. That consciousness, that, Bhagavan, that sentient, existent, all knowledge, limitless consciousness, Satchidananda, that which is one with Satchidananda at all times, is Maya. Non-separate from Satchidananda, this we have seen. In other words, wherever there is Maya, there is Ishvara, there is Bhagavan. Maya is Bhagavan. Oh, so Bhagavan is Maya? No. Maya is Bhagavan like pot is clay. But you cannot turn the sentence the other way around and say, clay is pot. Clay could be a lump on the roadside. Clay could be, a figurine. It could be a lid. It could be another pot. It doesn't have to be this pot only. But pot is completely clay. So Maya is, without Ishvara there can be no Maya. So Maya is Ishvara. Maya is a manifestation of Ishvara. Maya is called, what is that? The unmanifest. There are two aspects of this Maya that also we have seen. The manifest in the form of the name and form and raw materials, apara prakriti, and that latent cause, the cause of everything in the universe, upadana karanam, the material cause, which is called para prakriti. Don't get confused about the words, just enjoy whatever message there is. So Maya is non-separate from Ishvara. This we have covered completely in the last several classes. And then if this is understood, then there is another definition of Maya, which is what is talked about a lot. The first definition, that's why I had to spend a lot of time covering, because this is not addressed in the text, but it is important to know. The author of the text, some Shankaracharya, assumes that you already know this and it is just a little satire on Maya to enjoy. So the first one now we have seen. Adhishthana Ananyat Maya, or Adhishthana Ishvara Ananya Maya, non-separate from Bhagavan, Shakti of Bhagavan, one with Bhagavan, manifest cause of the universe, the raw material, etc. All this is Maya. Then there is another definition also, and this definition is very well known. And what is this definition? Cannot be categorically said to exist and cannot be utterly dismissed as non-existent. This is the second definition. Sad asadbhyam anirvachya Maya. Like even our flower. Of course, this is a different flower. That was two days ago. Yeah, this is the size of a cabbage, a small cabbage. Wonderful. So like even this flower, we saw very clearly that this flower is not self-existent because it depends on so many things. It is, it is put together. It is not, in other words, the isness of this flower does not belong to the flower. Because we can never say, that the flower is self-existent. It is dependent on so many things. And then, so it is non-separate from Ishvara. This we have seen. This is the first definition of Maya, because the is belongs to Ishvara. If you write is in English, Ishvara in English, what are the first two letters? Is. Is. But that is doesn't belong to the flower, because the flower is already threatening to drop petals even as I hold it. It is ripe to have vairagya of its petals. So then what to do? What is this then? So this is the first definition. It is Ishvara. And it is Ishvara manifest as the flower, as the petal, as the compost. It is in so many forms, but that one is alone, blessing all the names and forms. This is the first definition of Maya. Second definition is what? Sad asadbhyam anirvachya. So you cannot say this flower exists. Why? Because it's going to drop any time soon. But can you say this flower is non-existent? Can I tell you, please look at this non-existent flower? Can you even oblige me by looking at the non-existent flower? Not possible. Because if it were non-existent, you could not have looked at it. And if it were existent, then the isness would belong to it alone. None of those are true. So therefore what? Therefore, that which cannot be affirmed as existent is, and that which cannot be dismissed as is not. This is the second definition of Maya. Like even your shirt. Does your shirt exist? Yes, I am wearing it. Nowadays, in these days of Zoom meetings, we hear so many wardrobe malfunctions. People come half-dressed. Nice shirt, tie, coat. And then wearing shorts. Yeah. And then unmindful of the fact that people can see, because they don't know how they have fixed the camera. So like this, so many things are happening. This is the Zoom age. Yeah. So can you say that this shirt exists? Of course it exists. How can you even question it? Can't you see that I am wearing this shirt? Is that really a shirt? Yes, it is a shirt. Okay. Please keep the shirt. Give me the fabric. You cannot. Because the cause of the shirt is not the shirt itself. The cause of the shirt is fabric. The cause of the fabric are threads. The cause of the threads are, cotton buds, cotton pods, whatever you call them. The cause of cotton pods is cotton tree, cotton bush, cotton seed, or you can say particles, molecules. It all goes back to Brahman, Ishvara, that single source of all existence. So Maya is that which cannot exist on its own, like even your shirt, like even the pot, without a substantive. And when you trace that substantive, it goes back to Ishvara. Cause, effect, cause, effect, cause, effect. That which was the cause, and then very soon it becomes because, and then that because was the cause, then it became because. Then relatively speaking, the cause becomes because, the cause becomes because. Why? Just because. This is Maya. That is why she is maddening, because you cannot say she exists, you cannot say she doesn't exist. This is why it is maddening. And that's why she is called illusion. But a better, word is delusion. She's not an illusion. You are not wearing an illusory shirt. You are wearing a real shirt. Real means on the empirical, transactional level of reality. That is the realm of Maya, is the empirical, everyday reality of action, result, karta, bhokta, all these things. Eating, drinking, sleeping, dreaming, waking up reluctantly. All this is the realm of Maya. And then crossing Maya. Again, it is a cognitive crossing. And crossing Maya means what? Crossing Maya means not internalizing the empirical reality. This is what it is. Another word for Maya is Mithya. Mithya is Satyam, because everything is Satyam, Satchidananda. Mithya is Sat. Sat is not Mithya. This is what it is. So the Ishvara in the form of the immanent manifestation of Ishvara is what? Is along with Maya, along with cause, effect, and 5 elements and all the manifestations. And the transcendental, seen from a transcendental standpoint, that Ishvara is you, Satchidanandam Brahma. This is what we have to understand. And if this much is understood, we can actually look at the verse. Yippee. So, Nirupama Nitya Niramshake Api Akhande Mayijiti Sarva Vikalpana Adi Shunye. All these words are in the 7th case. So it is the 7th case in Sanskrit is used for location. So this is one, this is one compound. Nirupama Nitya Niramshake, one compound. So what does that mean? So let us just not worry about that yet. Let us go to the middle words. Mayi Chiti. Mayi, in me. In me. Which me? Because this me is very suspect. Body me, mind me, senses me, don't mind me, all these things. So which me are we talking about here? And that is qualified, the word Mayi is qualified by Chiti. Yeah, in this me, which is like space, which is the Satchidananda me, which is the truth of I. And in this truth of me, which is all like space, so vast, so limitless, so commodious, so perfect, and existent, and Ananda, limitlessly joyful, because there is nothing other than this I. There is no other me. There is no me, there is no you, there is nothing. In this vast, oceanic, space-like consciousness, Chiti, me. In this me. You see? So now we are looking at the I from a transcendental standpoint. Not from the immanent standpoint of cause, effect, Jiva, Ishvara. No. And then, there is no Jiva, no Ishvara. All that is there is Satchidanandam Brahma. Is, I am, I is. That is grammatically correct in this particular discussion. I is, okay? And this I is. The isness of this I is not dependent on anything else, like the isness of the shirt, the fabric, the flower, or any single thing in the universe. When I say I am, I don't have to ask somebody's permission. Am I really here? Can I proclaim my existence? Can you please vouch for my existence? No. You can ask someone to give you an alibi. Yeah, some people, these mystery stories have that. Somebody knows they have done something bad, notorious, nefarious act. And so they go to their friend and say, can you please tell if you're questioned that I came 1 hour early? You can ask for your friend to vouchsafe the fact that you arrived at a particular time, so that you are not in a particular, you don't have to be caught in a, doing something wrong somewhere, even by association. But you cannot ask a friend to vouchsafe your existence. That is only up to you. This is what we mean by self-evident, self-effulgent Chit Atma, which is a conscious, sentient being which advertises itself. And when you say I am, this also we have been through, you are actually saying I know I am. Because how if you say I am, I will say, how do you know? How do you know you are? Well, don't talk to me like this. I know I am. Because I am, I know. Because I know I am. The two are inseparable. Sat Chit is one. Sat I am, Chit I know. And try to separate the two. You cannot separate the two. Sat is Chit, Chit is Sat. And both of them happen to be always. And that always is described as Ananta, limitless, or Ananda, because that limitlessness is craved for. I want to be always calm. I want to be always happy. I want to be forever. That foreverness is already built in. This is your DNA. Satchidananda. This is what it is. So, here the author is identifying himself, herself, himself, and asking us to identify ourselves, not from the standpoint of this miserable body, this limping mind, and this, and these senseless senses, the senses that drive one senseless, but to go, to a vantage point like we have been talking about, that is not available on the everyday level to one unlettered in Vedanta. And what is that vantage point? It is rising above cause and effect. It is rising above doer and done in. It is rising above action and result of action. And all other things that are, it's rising above sattva, rajas, tamas. It's rising above maya, in other words. So in this chiti, in this consciousness, which is what? I, which is the definition of I, in me, who is all-pervasive, sentient consciousness, at once limitless, always in the now. And then all other words are, qualifying Mayi Chiti. And what is this chit like? What is this I like? This I is Nirupama. Nirupama means, Vigataha Upama, Nirgataha Upama Yasmat, from which all comparisons have packed their bags and departed. This is literally what it means. I love these kinds of, what is that, these some samasas, from which all the things, all the comparisons, they got shy. And then they said, oh, we have nothing here, what to compare with? What are you going to compare space with? Space is like ... Give me some simile quick. What is it like? Well, I don't know. I feel kind of spaced out. That's all. When you ask this question, what is space like? I feel spaced out. And even to describe the state of my head, I have to use space to, to exemplify my head. But I can't find an example for space. Correct? So now what to do? There is no upama. Upama is not what you had for breakfast, okay? That's upma. This is upama, simile. Any kind of frilly comparisons are not there. All the comparisons looked at each other, looked at one another, because they all belong to the level of reality that you call Vyavaharika, the transactional level, which is the realm where Maya is the queen. Here Maya has no reach. This is Swarajya, the kingdom of the self. Yeah, Maya has no reach. This is a bigger, better kingdom. The kingdom of sentient consciousness. Maya is not the queen there. You are the queen there. You are the king there. And what does Maya do? Maya just waves from a distance and looks at you with, tries to look at you with binoculars perhaps, and fails miserably. And so this is Nirupama. All kinds of comparisons. You know, it is like this, like that, you know, big, small, tall. What kind of adjectives can you give, you know? Satchidananda. Satchidananda is naturally free of adjectives. But isn't Satchit and Ananda adjectival? No. They are purely indicatory, descriptive words. Lakshana. Understood through Lakshana. They are purely indicative, descriptive words. They are not adjectival to Atma at all. So in this Atma, which is me, which is the correct and the real and the lasting and perhaps the only definition of me, myself, from which all comparisons have packed their bags and departed. You know, Nirgata, Upamaha, you know, Yasmat. All the comparisons have said, okay, we should go and, you know, because, and also comparisons in the form of which is Tarap and Tamap. What is Tarap and Tamap?
Tamap is
Yes, better, good, better, best. Yeah. Comparative, superlative, you know. Yeah. Comparative, Tarap. You know, this is a suffix. Tarap suffix is comparative. So comparative means, you know, better. Yeah, even in English it is tarap. Better. You know. And, you know, like this. Good, better, best. And then superior. Like this. Super, superior. Like this. And then tamap, est, like best. Most. Like this, you know, so superlative, comparative, even the degrees of comparisons run away, because this is partless, whole Atma. You cannot say, yesterday Atma was not shining so brightly. Today it has got a luminescence that is unparalleled, because it undergoes no change. You cannot make that, you know, you cannot have that criteria for the Atma at all. No superlative. So, Nirupama. So it cannot be compared to itself, it cannot be compared to other things. Why cannot it be compared to other things? Because there is no other thing. Hello? Yeah. Why can't it be compared to itself? Because it is unchanging. A. B. Because it has no parts. You know? So all the upamas, all the similes, you know, which is the, what is that, which is the bread and butter of romantic poets, you know. They compare the stars to a necklace in the sky and the ocean to limpid, you know, pools of something or the other, and then, you know, the everything, you know, and daffodils to a state of mind, and, you know, all these things. And then and the comparisons and the comparative superlative adjectives and the comparisons look at one another and say, come on folks, let's go to the home of poets. This is of no use. We don't belong here. So this is Nirupama. Nirgata upamaha yasmat. You know. And then Nitya. Nitya we have already seen. You know, which is unchanging. It's not that Atma, like the moon, became big and we have full Atma, full moon. And then we have new Atma, new moon. No such thing. Neither new nor old, free of disease, death, aging, Shad Vikaras, all the 6 modifications, you know, are negated. For whom? This is the Chit, this is the I, this is the Atma. And then Niram Shake, this also we have covered, partless. So that's why Upama is not possible. It has no parts. No parts. It doesn't have head. You know, Satchidananda with a big head. No. No head. Does it have a tail? No. What about hands and legs? No. Then how will it act? That's the whole point. It doesn't act. But then it must be jada, it must be dull, or it must be inert. No, it is sentient. But then where is this sentient held? It is all pervasive sentient, it is not held. If it were held in a head, it would be finite. We have covered this at length. So it is not held, it is, it is all sentience, all pervasive, all knowledge. Sarvagya. In this Sarvagya Atma, which is Niramshaka. Niramshaka means impossible to see it part by part. That's why we don't have, a syllabus for Vedanta. Part 1 of Brahman will be taught in the fall semester. Thank God. Oh. Even though Mandukya Upanishad says, Soyam Atma Chatushpat, there are 4 parts, but they're not parts. They're taught from 4 standpoints, which of experiences, 4 experiences that are so intimate to you, like the waker, the sleeper, the dreamer, which everybody is, and the one that observes all of them. It's just from a standpoint. You can't make Brahman into parts, it's not a recipe. Take 3 parts and then keep 1 part aside for garnish. This is not what it is. Satchidananda being sprinkled on top. This is not it at all. So, Niramshaka, Amsharahita, no part, and cannot be taught part by part. Every class is whole, That's why people who think, I'll just show up for the climax at the very end, like the big bang of Vedanta. People do this. They will, appear for the last class to think that some big denouement will be there. It won't, because every class is a series of aha moments. You cannot wait for some big bang of Vedanta. That's why it is also Akhanda. Akhanda means whole. Not only there are no parts, because if you say there are no parts, you might be thinking that, there is nothing there to speak of. You go very close to thinking it is all shunya, meaning that how do you know? You cannot compare it, it doesn't have parts, it doesn't have, it is unchanging. How do you even know it is there? That's why Akhande. Akhanda means it is there and its nature is whole, it is always whole. And then what? Sarva Vikalpanadi Shunye. Shunya means bereft of, free of. Free of what? All changes. It was already said unchanging. Nitya was given, and that Nitya is now explained so that, you have no problem here understanding this at all. That this I is free of Vikalpas. Vikalpa means any kind of changes. Now sad, now happy, now angry, now comforted, now actor, karta, now bhokta, now pramata, knower, thinker, hearer, seer. These are all changes. And this I is free of all of them. Now actor, now lamenter, the one who laments all the actions and the result of action. Now guilty, and then guilty turns into hurty, and hurty, guilty. Sometimes guilty marries hurty. It's a wonderful marriage. Guilty keeps apologizing, and it's never enough for the one who is hurt. So, like this, all that you are not. You are Nirupama Nitya Niramshake Api Akhande. In that you, who is all of this, what does Maya do? Mischief. Yes. She does a little bit of mischief, because if this glory, if my whole glory has been set forth in the first line so beautifully, what can go wrong? Why can't I know this? Why can't I understand this? Well, because of mischief. Yeah. So who is this mischief maker? Her name is Maya. And what does she do? Ghatayati. Ghatayati means concocts. That's exactly the meaning here. Makes happen that which was not there. Ghatayati, rachayati, creates, concocts. What does she concoct? That which she concocts should be in the second case. Bhedam ghatayati. Bheda means differences. she concocts differences. And what kind of differences does she concoct? Big time differences. She concocts Jagat, Isha, Jiva, Bhedam Ghatayati. Jagatcha, Ishascha, Jivascha, Jagadisha Jiva. Jagadisha Jivasya Bhedam, Jagadisha Jiva Bhedam. Yeah. So, now, thanks to Maya, because see, this I is wonderful, comforting to understand the nature of this I, who is all knowledge, without a second, unchanging, free, and totally incomparable to anything else, free of all kinds of divisions, and free of all kinds of changes, free of death, disease, birth, old age, etc. And limitlessly joyful Satchidananda. In this me, this Maya slowly concocts various differences, and out of this Chit, she, just like you take a dough and make some chapati. So she makes one big chapati called Ishvara. And then what? Another one called Jagat. And a third small miserable burnt one called Jiva. But how did she make out of this, out of this, how did she make this Jagat, out of this Satchidananda? How did this Jagat come? Out of this Satchidananda, how did Ishvara come? Out of this Satchidananda, how did Jiva come? We'll see after the break. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Come back in 10 minutes.